Hello guys, and welcome to the Recreational Pilot. This video I'm going to be going over the yearly costs, my first year costs of my 1979 Piper Tomahawk. Now it is currently September, sorry, got my days all messed up. October 2nd. I got my plane back from manual back in March. I put it off greatly. Been trying to make this video. Things didn't really work out. Some of the videos I took, being lazy, most importantly. The video that you're watching here, I took with the intention of making this video back in April. Just, I didn't have anything with me. I didn't have my work orders to go over any kind of numbers. And I completely forgot half the things I was saying in the air, and I just didn't sound very right. So I'm going to be voicing over for a part of this video. And whenever I'm done, you can finish watching it. I put the plane down at Connellsville. It's a flight from Allegheny County Airport to Connellsville. I live by the Allegheny County Airport, so I bring it up here whenever I have a couple days I want to fly. Then I take it back down to Connellsville, where I store it for the rest of the time. I was on my way back to Connellsville, decided to make the video. Sounded like an idiot, and well, that's why I'm here making the video now. So enjoy.
Allegheny ground, Tomahawk November 2456 Delta's information pop-up. Ready, taxi active.
2456 Delta Allegheny ground, runway 28, taxi via Alpha, cross runway 31.
Taxi runway 28 via Alpha, cross runway 31, 56 Delta.
Six Delta, say directional flight.
Southbound, 56 Delta.
Roger, with you like flight following?
It's a negative, 56 Delta.
Roger that.
In this video, as you can tell by the title, I'm going to be going over my first year's cost of ownership and going over a couple different fixed and variable costs that you'll be looking at whenever you do purchase an airplane, or if you're thinking about it. Now, one thing I want to disclaim is that this is not a direct representation of what it's going to cost you to own your airplane for the first time, or your yearly costs. Your yearly costs vary heavily depending on the type of airplane you have, where you live, and the obvious overall condition of the aircraft. Also, your personal qualifications, which will dictate insurance, where you keep it, hangar, tie down. I'll go over all that. So, to start off with the fixed ownership, whenever I bought the plane in February of 2021, I was a student pilot with 55 hours. The insurance at that time cost me $1,500 for the year. Now, I go through a short partners program. They go through they get quotes from a bunch of different insurance companies, and they send me back with the best quotes. Now, that was the best quote they gave me. That was a one-time payment. It's no monthly. You can either do for every 6 months or the year. So I decided to do the full year, get it all done in one payment. So $1,500 for the insurance. Going on to your storage. Where are you keeping it? Is it going to be a tie down, hangar, which if you can afford a hangar, put it in a hangar, because what you get out of a hangar, it protects the plane from the elements, keeps it out of the sun. It is worth the investment. Now, I understand that where you live, hangars might cost $800 a month. It happens. There are areas like that. If you have to get a tie down, get a tie down. Make sure you have a good canopy cover and everything you need to keep the plane safe in the outdoors. Now, for my hangar, again, this is very cheap, $145.22 per month. A lot of the hangars in my area are going for about $300, $400, $500. Tie downs are going about $150, $160 a month. The airport that I'm at, Connellsville, $145 a month. It's basically like a shed, no electricity, no water, but it keeps the airplane out of the elements, and that's what I care about. That equals out to $1,742.64 for the year. So, again, that varies depending on where you live and where you're keeping the plane. And where you want to keep the plane, you should make a quick determination of your travel distance. You know, the services provided on the airfield. I can get into that in a later video, but you want to think about where you're keeping your airplane. Yeah, the airport up the street might be closer, but the airport a little bit farther down the road might have the better services that will make that drive worth it, which is the case for my airport. Even though it's an hour drive versus the 5-minute drive up the road, it's half the cost for the hangar, and I have a mechanic maintenance shop that will go into my hangar, pull my plane out, do all the work, and put it right back, and I won't even have to as much as go down there. Give them a call, pay for it. Whenever I'm down in the area, pick up the log entries, put it in myself, I'm set. Some other places are either busy, they deal with flight schools, they may not want to work on your particular type of aircraft. They may specialize in Cessnas. If you have a Piper, they might be reluctant to work on it, which is the case for me, which was the case for me up here. Now, the next thing I want to go over for your fixed costs, you can put this in your variable cost as well. That is your base annual price. Now, your base annual price will vary and determine based off of where you go. Again, it can go anywhere from $500, $600, $700 up to $2,000 for a small single engine plane like mine. Now, if you have a retractable gear, multi-engine, it just goes up from there. You become very expensive. But for my airplane in particular, the base price was $1,500. But because I am a resident or tenant, I should say, at Connellsville, where they operate out of, I got a $500 off discount. So for me, it was only $1,000 base price. But I'm not going to include that in the fixed, but that's something you can think about, because that price is getting mixed in with my variable costs. So, throughout my first year of ownership, I've only had 3 maintenance things happen with the airplane, which cost at the end of the day a little less than $1,000, and well, just about $1,000. And anybody who's owned an airplane knows that that is rarely the case. Now, whenever I first bought the airplane, I noticed quite quickly that the shimmy on the nose gear was in really bad shape. It was shaking violently. You could barely have any control over it. Almost all of my videos that I have posted, I went over that. I think with the exception of my most recent video, my 4th video I posted about my night flying. And on top of that, the nav lights did not work, or the position lights did not work. So whenever I took it to the shop a week after I got the plane home, the shimmy cost me $152.20, and the nav lights cost me $175.40. They were done at the same time, which brought the repair to a total of $327.40. Now, this is pretty basic. They had to replace a couple wires for the nav lights, replace some bushings, bolts and screws in the shimmy. It worked out. So that was in March. So let's fast forward to around October. I was noticing whenever I was doing my run-ups that when I changed to the right magneto, or the left magneto, when I changed to the left magneto, it dropped more than it should. It wasn't very, it was off and it wasn't good. So I took it to the shop and started talking to them about it, and based off of some things I was hearing, I was being told that bad spark plugs could be the issue. So I had them replace the spark plugs. It solved the issue. Luckily, it wasn't a magneto, because I was not ready to spend the money for a new magneto. The spark plugs itself, for the installation, installation, the parts, $325.40. That is a bit on the pricey side, since they only replaced a set of spark plugs for one magneto, because with the dual magneto systems that we have on the airplanes, it's a set of spark plugs per magneto. Even though it's a 4-cylinder, it takes 8 spark plugs, but I only replaced one set. The leaded fuel that we use in the airplanes are not the best for the spark plugs. They gunk them up real bad. It's why you want to lean out the mixture to run it a little hot to burn the carbon off. But I digress. So $325.40 for the spark plugs and labor. It fixed the issue. Can't complain really. The next issue, the fuel drain. Now the fuel drain on the left wing you use to sump the fuel, make sure there's no contaminants, no water or any crap inside of it. So I came back to my hangar one day to pull the plane out and start it up, get it running because it was the winter time, not the best for flying. I was still a student pilot at the time. I just wanted to get the plane out of the hangar and fire it up because down here in the Pittsburgh Northeast, it is not the best flying weather at all. It is, it's not. It's in the winter time. A lot of icing, a lot of crappy weather, a lot of clouds. So the winter time is not really the best time to fly. So during that period, I was just pulling the plane out to get it fired up, to get the engine running. And I noticed that there was no fuel in my left tank. I looked underneath the wing and there was the entire tank of fuel that I had in there a couple weeks prior on the hangar floor. The drain got stuck and it dumped all the fuel out. It wasn't a good mess. I had to clean it up, and I got that replaced, and I got the one on the end, the drain on the engine replaced because that was giving me problems. It was draining very slow and it was just a pain. So with those two pieces replaced, $350 for that. For just simple maintenance, that's $1,002.80. $1,002.80. Mine didn't add that up, so my head's not really working well. For just basic maintenance for an airplane, that's not very bad at all. That's pretty good. But I only flew 40 hours, which is something that I forgot to go over, but I'll go over that here. So during this time period, I flew for 40 hours. The fuel cost me, I'm using an average of about $6.50 per gallon. And in that period of time, it was like around $1,500 of fuel that I used. Now, I don't have the math with me, so I'll put it up here somewhere. You can get the total there. But that, again, will vary depending on how much you fly the airplane. That's just based off the hours I flew and the average fuel burn of the airplane. So the most expensive thing, my annual. Now, there were a couple things that I had done to this as well, but in a lot of ways there was also some of this that I did on my own. As in, I wanted them to do it. It didn't need to be done. So the price of the annual could have been cheaper, but I had them do a couple things to it. I'll go over that here. Again, $1,500 base price, but I had a $500 discount on the airplane. Now, on top of that, I had a tube replaced in one of the main tires. Oil change was done. New compass was put in. Now, the compass was not a part of this price. The compass I bought prior, not reading the fine print and buying the wrong compass bracket. So I had to have them order a new compass bracket, and with them ordering a new compass bracket, they included the price of the compass bracket, but not the actual compass, and they put the labor cost to install it in here. Now, there's gasket was replaced, and the firewall steering rod boot. Those were two of them. That was causing a real bad carbon monoxide leak inside the airplane, and it needed to be done. It needed to be dealt with. So that itself was about $126 for those two things. Just a little avgas sticker on the wing to show what kind of fuel, how much fuel is required. Oil filter, a new door seal for the pilot door, and just regular miscellaneous shop supplies that came out of the shop, and 10.5 hours of labor. So the tire tube was 0.5 hours to repair the compass bracket, install a fixed light for compass, fixed microphone, and a cut trim panel, which I got a couple new panel pieces inside. Bit OCD about it. Wanted some of those pieces that weren't there back in. Bought those pieces, had them trim and put it in. That was 7.5 hours of work, which was a majority of the labor. The doubler for the engine cowl, which the inside was yeah, I'll put it up here what it's called. I can't remember off the top of my head. That had to be repaired, and the door seal and steering rod boost, that was 2 hours. So in total, there was 10.5 hours of labor, which put the grand total of my annual to $2,546.58. Now, in total, with everything else, my grand total yearly costs, excluding the fuel, because I forgot to put this in here, I'll put it up here somewhere, was $6,791.78. With the other stuff, it would be close to $8,200 with the fuel, if you want to include it. Again, I'll put the exact price up here. For a yearly operating cost, that is much less than average. Some, depending on the plane you get, sometimes I hear stories of people with Moonies or whatnot having $10,000, $15,000 annuals. I have less than half of that for the entire year of operating. This all does boil down to exactly what kind of airplane you have, how much you fly it, where you keep it, where you live. There's a lot of factors that go into this. In future videos, there's a lot of different things that I will go over about where to keep the airplane, the services of the airfield, the small things, the small details you want to think about when you put your aircraft at a certain airport. I'll go over that more in another video, but for this video, that concludes my yearly costs of ownership for the first year. I am at this point looking on selling the airplane, and I do believe I have a potential buyer at this point. If I do, I'll make more videos regarding that. And if it does go through, I will be flying across the country, which I'll be having a ton of footage showing that. Well, it is the Recreational Pilot. Thank you for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of the video here.